lock. I got him. Now, Tank, now.
Welcome to your doom.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
All right.
Really capturing the spirit of Women's Day here. We're in trouble.
Is it recording?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're going.
Okay.
It's like in a movie, like, who's that guy?
Yeah.
Olga of Kiev was a woman scorned. She made sure her vengeance was quenched, but boy, did it need a lot of quenching. She ruled over 4 million square kilometers of land and was the leader of the Kievan Rus in her son's stead. She was smart, ingenious, and her revenge knew no bounds. So how did she become a saint revered by both Catholic and Orthodox Christian? Find out in this episode.
Dun dun.
Yeah.
The Non-Essentials Podcast.
Yeah, this is
Law and Order's gonna scoop you.
Yeah,
you keep doing these great intros.
This is.
I know that's my dramatic voice.
I like it. I like it. This is. Here's mine. This is episode 108A. My name is Adam Birchtrees Riley.
I'm Renee. Yeah, sure. You're gonna like this episode, right?
I have no idea what we're talking about here. My name is Jake Suffrage Bussy. I thought we were going with like women's theme or something like that.
It is. We're doing for Women's Month. We're doing Olga of
It's
Kiev.
a day.
Oh, Women's Day. Sorry.
I would give him a month.
I know.
If I was
think
in
we need a
charge.
month. With 31 days.
I'll be pandering a lot in this episode.
No, don't say
28
that one.
days.
Yeah. It should have been February. February should be Women's Month. Welcome to Non-Essentials Podcast. It's a perfect fit. Except that 1 year.
Yeah. This episode is brought to you by Dead City Coffee. So right now we're gonna do the ceremonial
We'll do a
French
demonstration
press
how to
here.
use it.
The French en français press. So you can find Dead City Coffee, heavy metal coffee roasters. You can find them on Instagram at Dead City Coffee. You can find them on Facebook, Dead City Coffee. And you can also find them on the interwebs at deadcitycoffee.com.
And I think we're still running a special. Mention this podcast and it's 20% more.
Yeah, you
it's
pay
even
double.
more
yeah.
than
Yeah, he didn't like us.
last time was 10%.
Yeah. Born in hell, roasted in Wisconsin. So, Dead City Coffee. Thank you very much, Rocky.
Thank you, Rocky.
Yeah, thank
Give
you.
me some of that, please. So who are we talking about today?
So today we're talking about Olga of Kiev,
Ooh, it's my mother-in-law's name.
or somebody
That's
like
Olga of Puerto Rico, Jake.
Yeah, that's true.
Amen.
We have the descendant of Olga of Kiev in the audience,
Yeah.
too.
Hey.
My lovely wife. Happy International Women's Day. Dishes better be done. So- It's obviously a joke.
Okay, so just a little backstory on the area. So prior to the 7th century in Europe, in Russia, Euro-Russia, there was just basically a bunch of different nomadic tribes that sometimes, it's sort of like Native American history in the United States. Sometimes the tribes would get together and war on a different tribe. Sometimes they would fight each other. It's like the alliances were consistently changing.
Sure.
And each of the tribes would have their own prince. So there's no central unity or anything like that. It's kind of rogue. Everyone's on their own thing. So they would be fighting a lot. So they decided that they were going to pay tribute, which is sort of like a bribe, to Vikings, because the Vikings at the time were starting to come down and raid into these areas. And they're like, hey, those Norsemen are pretty good at, killing and stuff.
Are the women saying that? They're like, those Northmen.
Yeah. They're like, have you
Gosh.
seen their biceps?
It's just some big I hope I get plundered.
Yeah, it's not, I mean, this is obviously. I mean, she's Scandinavian, so
I know. I guess
she's,
that's cheating. But
yeah.
anyways.
Yeah, she's over here sliding off the chair. So. Happy
getting
Women's Day.
dehydrated right now.
Okay, so anyways, they started, paying these Norsemen to help them, protect them against these other tribes. And then either by force or that they all came together and asked the Vikings to take over and rule the land, which I'm guessing is by force.
That sounds like it was the Vikings' idea.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah.
I'm like, it sounds very...
No, this is their idea to have us take over.
Yeah.
This is like very mafia-esque, like pay for
Yes.
protection. You know what?
Yeah,
We're just
pay
going to
for
run this
protection.
place.
It's like, you guys, terrible. So when all of the Vikings took over, that's the beginning of the Rus, R-U-S, Rus. So then they were known as the Kievan Rus. I say that wrong. Kievan, like Kiev, but Rus.
I'll trust
Okay,
whatever you pronounce it as. Like, I'm not going to...
So
There's
anyway.
gonna be one nerd that'll correct us online. They're like, actually... And is Kiev still the Kiev of today?
Yeah.
This is the Ukrainian
With a slightly
Kiev?
different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Slightly different. I think spelling or whatever. So
No, it's the same
the same
spelling.
spelling. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That actually kind of helps kind of like center exactly where this is kind of going on.
Yeah, I used to call it Kiev too, but then I watched 90 Day Fiance, and like a lot of chicks are from Ukraine, and
Yeah, isn't there a BOGO right now? You said. Because
Yeah,
of the
man,
war?
they're just gotta almost go. They're doing 3-packs now. Sometimes they come pregnant.
Sometimes you can pick them up like a 6-pack.
Yeah, exactly.
okay, this is awful. I'm sorry, ladies, but anyways.
I mean,
Okay,
Jake's wife is crocheting right now, so I mean, what's-
She's used to my. It's like she's built up this like shell of what to do when I say dumb shit. It's actually pretty impressive. I can tell how dumb I am by what she's doing.
by
Like, if
what
it's-
nod or
Yeah,
a head shake.
she got like a whole sock. I'm an idiot that day.
I love
That's how
it.
I get new socks. Guys, I just say dumb shit.
She must have been mad when she made this one. Okay, so
Yeah.
anyway, so a lot of Viking kings and leaders and were very superstitious.
Well, of course, yeah.
Not a little stitious.
Well, aren't they all?
superstitious.
Aren't they also like God gave me this position? You know, very like
Yeah, but all kings
attached
are
to
like
the.
I was
that.
gonna say, yeah,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Queen Elizabeth was singing that too.
So like they're very like probably reverent of signs and you know
Yeah.
stuff like that.
So they go to like seers or like
Roebuck. Okay.
yeah, yeah, seers like soothsayers.
Oh, seers. Okay. Like,
Seers.
okay, I got it. Like reflecting.
Yeah, he went to Sears and Roebuck
I don't
to get
know.
his fortune told.
God damn you guys.
And then, so whoever that person was told him that he would die because of his favorite horse.
That's the downfall of many men.
Yeah. No, they said they basically said they go, your favorite horse will be your downfall.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Mr. Hands.
So
Don't Google that. Don't Google Mr. Hands. There's a documentary called "Is It the Farm?" It's got nothing.
Stop
Okay,
it.
keep going.
so he avoided this horse now at all costs.
Just kill the horse. Well, no, then
But
they
it
would,
was
then your
his-
death would become because you
Right.
killed the horse.
Yeah.
This is a self-fulfilling thing.
It
Right.
is a self.
Why would you go to a psychic? I don't fucking get
I
it.
don't. Well, because they don't have TVs or books or internet. So I guess want to do something fun. You go see your Sears and Roebuck guy.
Spoilers. You know, they don't have TV.
So when he found out the horse was dead, he was like cheering. He was so happy because now the horse is no threat to him anymore.
You don't understand horses.
So he was like so happy. He goes up to the horse and he's like kicking it in the head and like stomping its skull in and everything. But what he didn't know was that there was a snake underneath the horse.
the skull?
And because when he was kicking the horse, it scared the snake, and so the snake, snapped,
And bit him.
bit him, and he died from the venom of the snake.
You know, this sounds exactly like
Jack
Adam's.
Daniel-
Jack
Jack Dan-
Daniels.
yeah.
Jack Daniels died
Yeah.
the same way because he was too drunk to
actually got-
remember the combination of his safe, so he kicked it.
And got-
Toe infection.
Yeah, he got a
dead.
blood infection from the wound. Yeah, I actually have right here. I've got Oedipus and Jack Daniels as my references. I was
Oh,
gonna
okay,
bring up.
yeah.
Yeah, but like think of it like with Oedipus, they said, "Hey, you're gonna kill your dad and marry your mom." He's like, "That's never happening. I'm moving away to make sure that never happens." And then when
Well, no, I
you
think
know-
the parents even sent him away because
Yeah.
they were like, "Ah."
yeah.
You imagine, like,
then-
the fortune
and then-
teller's like, I don't know if this, like, I've dealt these cards 6 times.
Yeah.
Says he's gonna kill you and fuck you.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
like,
But then
what tarot card is that?
Then Oedipus moved, went away, and then decades later came across, went to return home, came across a man in a field, got into an argument with him. They end up fighting. He kills him, and then marries that guy's wife, and that was his dad. They killed his mom that he married. So it's like, God, it's like just self-fulfilling prophecy because he tried to run away from it. Same thing as like, I'm sure that if he didn't try to get, send the horse away or at least, be, ecstatic over its death,
Yeah.
he'd be alive today probably.
Do you think Oedipus's dad, well, he'd be like, man, we have a really similar temper. Just like killing a stranger over an argument? Like,
Yeah,
what is
yeah.
this, Call of Duty?
So his son Igor is
Yeah.
now the new king of the Rurik dynasty.
Can you imagine announcing that to the town? You're a new king, Igor.
Yes. Hello, I'm your ruler now.
Except for Igor was like very strong. He had a lot of testosterone, very aggressive.
Yeah, he has a certain type of strength.
He's
So-
got a hunch.
He was like immediately when he took over, he started raiding lands. He to get more lands, more taxes, more everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest empire at the time was the Byzantine Empire.
Okay.
And so he went to try to raid and take over Constantinople twice. Like,
So he failed, and then
yeah,
okay.
but I mean, he like obviously after he failed the first time, he was like not go back the second time. Sort of like Ragnar in Paris, like they have to keep coming back until they, get what they want. They're not used to no, or they're not used to losing.
Yeah, king's sons are the worst.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell my dad.
Yeah. What's that? There's like Harry and Meghan. You know. What's your brand?
Think of Igor, but without the frostbitten penis.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
he put his mom's face cream on.
Yeah, Harry got his dick frostbit.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to move on from this.
Just move on.
Okay, so
Can I have some more of
Igor
that Dead City coffee, please?
Yeah.
Igor married Olga when she was
Okay.
about 15 years old. They don't really know her birth date. Actually, they don't really know about anything about her until she got married. Typical about women in history.
By the way, we're gonna call your dad Igor from now on.
Olga was the daughter of a Viking warlord, and he was anxious to get his daughter married to him because he wanted his daughter to be in that dynasty, the Rurik dynasty, because everyone thought, they're the strongest people at the time.
Is that how
And-
they just like marriage was a much more negotiation
it
business?
still is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
still, it was. But the thing is that when, she did their meeting, when she found, for their marriage or whatever, she was like, damn, he's hot. And she
Igor's
was,
hot.
yeah.
All right.
Rubbing oil on
Yeah,
his
so it
hunchback.
was like total celebration.
Love
on
at
her
first
end.
sight, huh?
Yeah,
All
it
right.
was, and for him, it was the same. Like he thought that she was really attractive, so they both like kind of lucked out in the.
She's 15 though, so like there's no Chris Hansen back then.
That's true.
But Igor wasn't that much older. In all fairness, I think he was like 18 to 21-ish range.
He's not like a Steven Tyler split.
No.
Or anything like that.
No. And
Steven Tyler's a pedophile. I just like to remind everybody in case they forget.
I know. I think I first heard it here.
Yeah, no, we broke the story. Fuck you, Steven.
So together they had their son Sviatoslav.
Yeah.
Okay, Sviatoslav.
Can you even shorten that to something cute? Slav? Don't try. I mean,
Okay,
these
so
are all
anyways,
dumb names to me.
So what happened was that I told you that Igor, he was eager to be a strong ruler. Did I say it wrong?
No, you just
No,
said
it's a-
Igor.
it's a
and then
eager
said
Igor.
and
Okay.
I was like, there goes
He's an
Jake.
eager Igor.
Yeah, yeah.
So what happened is when his dad died, what he didn't know right away was that there was this tribe called the Drevlians.
Okay.
And so they're like, well, Oleg was really strong, but we don't know about his son. So we're going to pay these other Viking warlords to take protection. So instead of like giving their tribute to the new king, Igor, they were paying tribute to like a different band altogether.
Sure.
And so when Igor found this out, he was like super pissed. And so he's like, I'm going to go down there and show them what's what.
He was eager to get
Yeah,
down
he
there.
was eager to get to.
This is basically the plot of a couple Sopranos episodes.
Yeah, this is like testing the sun. Yeah.
So he, shimmies up to the Drevlians and he's like, this is what you owe me. And so they pay him because, of course, they're scared. And then he leaves, but then he's like, when I was watching them put my goods together, I noticed that they still had goods left, and I'm super pissed. And so he sent most of his guys back. He took like his best dudes. He went back to do a double taxation.
Okay. This as a punishment kind of
Ye-
thing. Like you
well,
tried fucking around, you're
he was
going to
like
find out now.
He was just a little greedy, because he's like, well, they have more, so I could get more.
Sure, but you're also saying this was the tribe that tried to like go
Yeah.
away from him. So I would think this would be like it was fucking stupid.
Yeah,
a little
maybe
bit more this time.
It's
you
a
know.
twofold. So he goes back for the double tax, and
Pain and suffering.
yeah, it didn't go well for him because now he's with fewer guys, and so they ended up capturing him, and then they killed him in a very
Oh shit.
unusual way that I've never heard of before.
Yeah. I've actually got it described by somebody called Leo the Deacon. If you want me to
Oh
read
yeah,
it.
that's one of the original firsthand sources on this.
Leo the Deacon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can read you the description if you'd like.
Of how he died? Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay.
Omit no detail, however minute.
Well, it just says they bent down 2 birch trees to the prince's feet and tied them to his legs. And then they let the tree straighten again. This tearing the prince's body apart.
I know.
Now you get my nickname. The birch
Dude, even
tree.
Igor was like, I'm kind of anxious to see what happens.
It was like the most rudimentary, drawn and
Yeah.
quartering you've
Life's
ever
a
seen.
birch, I guess. Jesus. Oh.
Why did I not think of that? That is
Birch-ass
awesome.
Yeah, I guess he was paper cut in half.
Yeah. That's pretty brutal though. Like I
Yeah.
mean, I've heard of like, and just even doing research for this podcast and just other things or just my own macabre like curiosity, but I've never heard of this
Yeah.
particular.
Dude, they treat him like a fucking wishbone. Do you
Yeah.
think that like whoever gets the bigger half gets to make the wish?
Yeah. I wish for more people to rip it out.
Yeah.
You could, but on which side?
Dude, what a moment for Igor if you could have held it together.
Yeah. Just Kegels.
Yeah, like Spider-Man stopping that train. Just
Or your anus stopping that poop on your
Yeah.
drive to work.
exactly. Hold.
I've been ripped apart by a few birch trees myself.
That 6 blocks you guys drive to work. Strenuous. Okay, so
I hope it like painted the crowd. It's like a Guar concert.
I was gonna say a Gallagher show.
Yeah. In the first couple rows, you got to expect. I got a colon.
Anywho, so Olga got word what happened to her husband, and let's just say she got a little upset.
Yeah.
So she's now a queen.
He had to split. They had fun with it. So.
She's now the queen regent because she's acting as a regent for her son because at the time he was only 3 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's not old enough to rule. So she has to take matters into her own hands about what she's going to do about this Drevlian situation. But in the meantime, the leader of the Drevlians is Prince Maul.
Okay, that's a cool name.
And so he was also feeling a little egotistical, thinking like, oh, I just killed the strongest guy. And
Yeah, he's Igor-tistical.
so egotistical.
And you probably saw Igor's testicles. Keep going.
So he sends a messenger to Olga saying that, we didn't want to kill your husband, but we had to because he was like a wolf, crafty and ravening. Also, he wanted to know if
A wolf? Wolf?
a wolf. That's
Oh, okay, yeah.
and then also he wanted to know if she wanted to get married to him.
Yeah, we had to kill your bitch husband, ladies.
Yeah.
So instead of just getting angry right then and there and like just cursing out those dudes, instead she remained extremely calm. Mind you, she's a teenager still. She said, your proposal is pleasing to me. Indeed, my husband cannot rise again from the dead, but I desire to honor you tomorrow in the presence of my people. Return now to your boat and remain there with an aspect of arrogance. I shall send for you on the morrow, and you shall say, we will not ride on horses, nor go on foot. Carry us in our boat, and you shall be carried in your boat.
I wouldn't trust this lady. I said we just killed your husband. We split him in half.
Yeah. Why are you leaning into it so
I know.
much?
I guess that they're hoping that it's like one of those political marriages, and that maybe she actually hated the
They go back
dude.
to the boat like, she's stoked. He must have hit her. So
Well, that and he had a big ego, so maybe they thought that.
Igor had an ego?
Yeah,
All right.
Igor's ego is so huge.
Igor had an ego.
I hear he has a
Yes.
split personality now, though.
I get it.
Yeah.
Because he got ripped in half.
Yeah.
So they were so excited because
He's
they
of two minds.
they were going to be able to go back to Prince Maul and be like, oh yeah, she treated us with honor, and sure, she'll marry you and all this other stuff. So they thought that they were doing like really good. However, the next day they went out and they like lifted up the boat with all of the dudes in it, and like crowd surfing. Like from the 90s, they were crowd surfing the boat forward, like they were all like lifting it and stuff. And then
Were people in the boat like, wow, they really love us?
yes,
Like,
they
hey,
were.
it's like a Super Bowl parade.
Yeah, and so they thought that they were really honored guests,
They must have been like, man, Igor must have been a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So right when they got into the castle walls, that's when they noticed that, maybe things aren't that great, because that night she had ordered her guys to dig this huge ditch.
Mm-hmm.
So when they were crowd surfing the boat, the boat went tipped over into the ditch thing. And then all the people started like stoning them, throwing rocks in there, and then other people were like shoving dirt in there.
They buried him alive.
And buried him
Dude,
alive.
she basically
yeah.
reverse Trojan horsed him.
Yeah.
Like she just get him in here.
Yeah.
It's starting to remind me of like what's that old saying? Like hell hath no fury.
Yeah.
Like
It's
a
a
woman
woman's
scorned.
scorn.
You know.
So apparently she's like bent down and said, "Is this honor to your taste?" As they were being buried alive.
Damn, talking shit.
Yeah.
Has it happened?
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
insult to injury.
Olga.
That's all I know.
Yeah, that's my mother-in-law, man.
Olga, Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
No different.
I don't have a boat, but
So she's
Neither did she.
yeah,
It's a floating
I'd be more
door.
suspicious around birches now. But
she sent one of her messengers.
I got the floating door joke. I heard it.
Again with the floating door.
Yeah.
I'm
Just
trying to
let
get the
it
dirty.
go.
I'm trying to get the dirty look from Lindsay, but she's just crocheting more. No, I'm getting
My
socks.
mother-in-law is from Puerto Rico, and apparently I don't think she got here on a floating door.
know.
Happy Women's
No,
Day.
you told me that once.
What's that? It was a nice door. It was. Jack could have fit on it.
Her great grandpa could have, or her grandpa could have been on it, but then the grandma was like, only one
Yeah.
for us on this
Yeah.
door. Okay,
So
anyway,
we're burying people in a
so
boat.
yeah, they were buried, and then she sent one of her messengers to Prince Maul, thanking him for sending those dudes and how wonderful they are.
Sure.
And then she's like, if you could send some more of your men, like some chieftains, warriors, and some of your advisors, that would kind of help me get accustomed to your culture and like things that I need to do.
It's cold blood. I love it.
She's doing the honeypot.
Yeah.
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 And he was like, yeah,
Hell
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
man.
Your other warriors, they're all sex comaed out. You know, like, they need to send more.
So he sent
like-
all of his best warriors, best, advisors, best of everything, sent it
This
to
is
her.
a stupid general.
He is. He's dumb.
Stupid king.
So they get there, and before she sees them, she's like, "Oh, you guys are smelly and dirty," and they're like, "Yeah, we are."
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, "We built this bathhouse knowing that you guys were coming, so that way you guys can like get cleaned up before my feast that I'm hosting for you people."
I would love to live in a world where I wasn't suspicious of women. Like,
They're being too nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
All right. It's like, it's lined with red flags. A nice bathhouse.
So they all go into the bathhouse and they're kind of getting comfy. And as soon as the last guy gets in, they hear like a door slam and it's like being barricaded. And they're like, why would they do that? That's weird.
Why did we come in as a group?
Yeah. So then she had her guys start it on fire on all four corners of the house. So basically they were all burnt alive in there.
Perfect. That's a
that-
steam house.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
The bathhouse is now a steam house.
There's a bunch of hot dogs in there now. So
So that took care of that second group. So then she sends another messenger. I'm sorry.
do we have a timeline of like, so her husband's killed, they come back, is this all
This is all happening, I guess, as fast as you can.
travel essentially?
Travel,
Like,
yeah.
hey, thanks for killing him. Send more men for the party.
Yeah.
We got a great bathhouse celebration. Get them all washed off. A big orgy. It'd be great. They're all glistening.
Yes, I mean, if they were gone for 6 months, that wouldn't be unusual or cause any concerns.
Their orgies last a while back
Yeah,
then.
you've been like, I've been in the running for like being your husband much sooner than Igor's death,
Yeah.
So-
which was a split decision.
Ah.
She sends another messenger to Prince Maul,
Okay.
and she's like, you know what? I'm ready. I'm coming to you. But, first, before I can marry you, I need you to do a funeral so I can mourn my husband in the city he was killed because, he killed him in his city. And he's like, and then after the funeral, I will.
Starting to think the
Marry
reason he
you.
went back for the second taxes was because of Olga.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like she wants that.
It seemed like,
They had more stuff.
what color were their boats? Did they have adornment on them? Like, it's like, go back and get more.
I already gave you a pearl necklace earlier. What
Yeah.
else?
Igor comes back like, listen, the wife ain't happy. Like, I gotta need more stuff.
You know what it's like. Come on, guys.
He's getting split by the trees. Like, thank you.
This is so misogynistic. But I know,
Like,
okay, so
he tied his other foot to the tree. I don't know. Like, send it.
So Prince Maul, who was thinking with his second brain, he was so happy and excited, and he wasn't even.
Oh, his dick.
Yeah,
I got
he
it.
wasn't even concerned about the first two groups. He was like, he told his guys, hurry up, build this
I'm
funeral
sorry,
mound.
but I hate that you said brain instead of head. You're
Yeah.
acting like isn't an octopus? Don't they say like
Yeah,
in their
80% of their
tentacles?
cognition's in their tentacles. I bet at least 6%'s in the dick. It's definitely the origin of a lot of bad ideas.
I think mine's prehensile.
Yeah.
I used the right.
Yeah, it's like, what is it? The head doesn't know what the other head's doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, sorry.
I guess in this case, his head didn't care what the other head was doing. But anyways,
Yeah, it seemed like a good idea.
yeah. So he knows that she's coming, so he sets up this funeral for her, and then there was gonna be a big funeral feast.
For her husband?
Yes.
This guy is arrogant beyond belief. Like, this is
I
just,
know something should have crossed his
like,
mind.
all
like,
my warriors are gone. They like all these notes with feminine handwriting. We're having a good time.
Yeah.
You know, like just
Signed your warlord.
yeah. Bees back soon. As soon as we recover from all the sex.
Yeah.
Like,
My chieftains don't normally sign hugs and kisses.
yeah. This reminds me. I just saw a meme where it was like a cobra striking. It's complete open mouth like a viper, and it was like proof that all dangerous things look the same because
Pink in the middle.
it just very much looked like a vagina.
Yeah.
It was the mouth of a snake.
The mouth of the snake is that's a forbidden fleshlight.
Yeah, happy Women's Day.
So she asked him to prepare his best meat and have lots of it.
Oh, she
And he
said
fulfilled
it
the
in a
request.
fun way, like get your meat ready. Like
Mead.
Mead.
oh,
Yeah,
mead,
like
Okay.
made from honey.
Yeah.
Which
Like
reminds
fermented
me-
honey.
Dead City Roasters. We got Doom Spreader. This is the Colombian honey process.
Dude, this should be called the Olga of Kiev. She's the real doom spreader here.
Yeah.
Like,
So when they arrive, she doesn't come with like a big horde of people like they were expecting. I mean, she has like a small band of men with her. And so between that and being on their home turf, they felt very comfortable, like not suspecting anything.
do you think he thought this would be a type of negotiation too? Because he's
No,
like,
he thought he was gonna get some.
I think,
right, but also like, and then he gets that kingdom. He was probably stoked
Yes.
on this array. So, but he thought like, okay, we're gonna secure these terms.
Yeah, because
Okay.
the thing is, as soon as he marries her, then
He gets everything.
Stanislav is under him,
Ah, okay,
and he could just get rid of Slav.
sure.
So anyways, so she told her men, make sure that those guys' cup is never empty. Give them, encourage them to drink as much meat as possible. And so they did the funeral. And then, when the men were all as drunk as she thought they should
Did they
be.
bury her husband in front of her? Like they
No, it
stitched
was,
him back together. Like, hey, all right.
No.
There's two caskets. They're very slim.
well, his body
soup
wasn't there.
Oh, okay. That's
But
all right.
it's just like in memoriam, like a memorial type
Sure.
thing.
Okay.
So because that's how pagan tradition would be anyway. So, so she gave the signal that when they were drunk enough, in her opinion, and so like her guys just started cutting their
Loading
heads
their-
off.
Yeah, loading those shotguns.
So they were like killing them in the droves.
Yeah.
They say that like 5,000 men were cut down that night.
Because they're just drunk as shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all brilliant planning, and also like she really loved Igor, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like takes a lot to like put on the good face and convince
I'm
someone
sure-
that you don't.
I'm sure that like the brutality of Igor's death also really fueled her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You know,
I'm
like,
saying just the
If
ability
they'd
to
have been
kind of
like, yeah, he was cut down in battle, whatever. Like, but they're like, oh no, we had a real fun time actually killing him.
well, and yeah, just the ability to like not just go ballistic, go straight to war, but to rein it in strategically. Like, oh yeah, go wait in your boat. It'll be over there to suck your dick in a moment. And then like as soon as you leave, be like, okay, get everybody that can lift. You know what I mean? And then like organize that. She's writing letters to get it's admirable.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
that
wait in your
and
boat, you're gonna get stoned soon.
Yeah. Hey.
obviously, if a
Yeah,
guy
like the
wants to
party.
marry her, then he's going to try to take power away from her son and Igor's son. That's not going to happen.
Yeah. Little prince.
Yeah.
Little
Her
Prince
ba-
Hunt.
her
Prince
little, her little baby
Hunchback.
boy. So the men who did escape, they handled a few that they thought would make good slaves that they could sell, and the rest they just killed them. And then, so you'd think that they called it the Red Funeral, by the way.
Yeah, I bet.
So you think that, she would be like feeling avenged now that, she had those two groups and then she's got the 5,000 guys. And Prince Maul was also killed at that funeral.
Yeah.
But she wasn't.
Well,
Because
she's got like She had a taste for blood now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, do I feel
Yeah.
good? No, she decided that she wanted every Drevlian man, woman, child. They must all be eliminated.
Happy Women's Day. I love this. Like, no, it's good. Like, I feel like in history they always glorify like men, war conquests and stuff. They're like, yeah, but it's nice to hear that like women have the exact same ambition and
Yeah, no, I love
ability
it.
to execute. Like, it's
I mean,
great.
Women have a lot of ambition. First of all, we have the candle lit for Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina.
Yeah,
still.
it seems like it got halfway and it's just really burning through that midsection. Must have been a clump or something.
Okay.
She just sends like little packages of like,
Yeah.
here's your refill.
Yeah.
Okay. And well, the other thing is that I think it kind of pissed her off that like this guy thought that he could just manipulate her.
Yeah.
And just assume that she'd be like, oh, okay.
Well, she played into it perfectly.
Yeah.
She used his, I
I'm
guess,
sure there was some
prejudice
hair
against
flipping.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, hair, like, oh, that'd be great.
She basically Kill Billed him. Like, you can assume that I'm, just some damsel, and
Yeah.
because like they would never let a guy essentially get in the position that she was allowed to get into, and it's great to see you get close and you stab in the heart. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
So after she got back home, she's like, yeah, I'm not done. So
I'm into this now.
Yeah.
So
she goes back into their territory, and then she puts all their cities under siege.
Mm-hmm.
And she's able to like capture every city except for their main city, which that one had a castle, so it had the stone walls, so to speak. So she
Sure.
wasn't able to get in there as easily. And then this just kept going on for over a year.
Mm-hmm.
Like she would just not leave until she did it. Well, the people on the inside, they know that if they do anything, that they're literally fighting for their lives because there's no way they're going to get out of this alive. So they're not going to just like give in and be like, murder me.
Yeah.
sure.
So she came up with a different plan because she was just sick and tired of this. And so she sent a messenger to say this little message that I'm going to actually read you because she says it better than I do.
Sure.
She said, why do you persist on holding out when all your cities have submitted tribute so that their inhabitants are now cultivating their fields and lands in peace? So she's like, hey, all your other cities that I killed, they're, they
You don't hear a peep out of them.
you hear that quiet? That's
Yeah.
their peace.
They're so happy they don't even write letters anymore.
Yeah.
Like, they're content, and if they do find letters, it's my handwriting.
Yeah.
And they said,
We're happy.
oh, we would pay tribute, but we don't trust you because we think that, you just want to kill us.
To be fair, yes.
Yeah. So,
Well, I never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't keep using the same. She's just button mashing to win.
well, she's like, I feel like my revenge is quenched now and I'm not angry anymore, but I do want you to be a part of my kingdom. So she's like, I'm going to only ask for a small tribute because I'm not like my husband. I'm not greedy. And also I can see that, your city's pretty impoverished after this whole year of fighting and you don't have much anyway. So I'm not going to ask much. And they're like, well, what do you want? And she said, I want 3 sparrows and 3 pigeons from each household. And they're like, that's too easy. But they're like, but we can afford that.
Yeah. Hold
And-
on. They have sparrows and pigeons laying around?
Well, they eat them.
Okay. They're breeding them?
Yeah.
I'd be like, why the fuck didn't you say so? Why'd you have
that's
to-
what they said.
Hold on.
Okay. Sure.
And so she said
And then I
that
would poison those pigeons and be like, there you go. So,
she said when I get those birds, I'll leave because then she's had her tribute.
be like, here you go. Bang. two
Yeah,
middle fingers for the
I was
listeners.
gonna say, yeah, for those not watching on YouTube, but Jake
Yeah.
flipped off.
You can keeve them.
That's funny. I'm going to use that in a second.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And the dead horse your dad died upon kicking. You rode in on. I don't know.
so she has each one of her men take one bird
Okay.
and they wrap each bird's talon with a cloth that's like in sulfur.
Okay.
And then at nighttime, she has them light their little talons on fire, and the birds are going to fly back to their roost.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's why you got pigeons.
Yeah, exactly.
And so they landed on the house's roofs and the eaves and all around. And like,
That's fucking brilliant. And then if you had given her a crow, you're fine. Like,
so within minutes, like every house was burning down. The whole like inside of that castle was aflame. And so
she carried them.
yeah. So when there pretty much everyone died and like the same situation as before, whoever that were slave worthy, they sold, and then everyone who they didn't think was slave worthy that escaped was killed. And
Sure.
now that the Drevlians are
Wiped out.
wiped out.
Yeah.
I imagine she's standing there watching the city burn. Her general comes up, it's like, sick burn.
Well, that's what I was gonna say about the birds. Is like you can keep the birds
Yeah.
when the birds went back.
No, I mean, is that the first recorded incident of that happening?
I don't know, but I
I
feel
don't
like
know.
I've seen it in movies and stuff like that too. Does it? I can't remember, but
Is that what Tyson's doing with the pigeons?
I feel like, yeah. I feel like I saw maybe Genghis did it or something like that,
Sure.
or heard of something like that. But
I mean, realistically, that would be bad news from then on as like a tactic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd have to like stop raising pigeons essentially.
I was like, this is the first bombing of a city.
yeah,
Yeah.
All these birds on fire landing on your house. They did not see that coming.
It's a brilliant move. I'm actually like,
Yeah, she didn't read or anything, so I guess
it's just natural,
Yeah.
natural evil. And
yeah.
now I know she sent him back for those second texts. Like,
Well, she had over a year of being really pissed off to think about it every night before she went to sleep.
This might be a great time to go into our second sponsor here. So all this talk of paying tributes and taxes. Think of who we
Yeah.
have to think. What's coming up April 15th? We're paying tribute to the United States here. So if you're tired of all the paperwork that comes with running a small business, a headache from hundreds of new tax laws, let Jensen Accounting be your Tylenol.
That is a good placement.
Yeah, there you go.
nicely woven in.
Yes.
Thank you. You can find them on Facebook by searching Jensen Accounting and Consulting, just a stumble away from Sneakers Bar and Grill in Janesville, Wisconsin. Again, that is Jensen Accounting in Janesville, Wisconsin.
I like that you said a stumble. Like you're just drunk on April 14th. Like, oh shit.
What day is it? Yeah.
So now that her bloodthirst has been sated, she returns back to Kiev, and in 948, her son is now of age. He takes over the kingdom. So
I don't think she gives away the reins. She seems like
No,
a Queen
she-
Elizabeth. She's gonna live
no, because she's had like 10 years to train him in the ways of Olga. Okay.
of manipulate. And he
Yeah.
was known as Igor the Manipulator. So,
So she gets an invitation from Constantine IV he's the king of the Byzantine Empire. And he wants to marry her because he's now heard all these stories about her.
is he just bored?
This is a ruthless bitch.
Well, he he heard A, that she's attractive, and B,
A little
she's
bird
smart.
told him.
Yeah. That's the
She's
best.
hot.
No, I am.
Okay. So he wants to find out if she's truly as smart and beautiful as all they,
Yeah,
have
test
heard.
her. Smart.
Yeah. So she goes knowing two things. One is that the Byzantine Empire is an empire that they would frequently trade with, but also
Sure.
frequently war with. If you remember her husband, tried to get Constantinople from King Constantine. So,
Is this the guy that made the Bible? Constantine? He assembled it? I'm trying to remember if that's aside being Keanu Reeves.
I don't know. I know the first currency I feel like is from the Byzantine Empire.
Okay, but Constantine, he's a pretty popular figure from the past, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But when she comes, she's like, gee, I hope he doesn't ask me to marry him.
Worked out well for the last guy.
Yeah.
Do you have any pigeons?
So when she gets there, he checks off the beauty tab, she's
It's
passed. And then when he talks to her, he realizes that, she really is as smart as he thought she was. And so he said that she was now fit enough to become his wife. Yeah. She was like, Thank you very much. But I can't marry you because I'm a pagan and you're a Christian, and you can't get married if you're not the same. And so he's like, well, let me tell you about Christianity then.
She's like, I probably don't qualify.
Well, it's interesting because they said that she took to the religion like a fish to water. Like she soaked it up. She really liked it.
All I got to do is ask for forgiveness?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can do whatever I want.
And so, and I think too is you also harbor a little bit of even though you feel like that was your vengeance, there's still maybe some images you wish you could erase. But anyways, so he eventually, decides, do you want to be baptized? And she's like, sure. So he baptized her.
Ugh.
And he said, I'm now your godfather, and, like at a baptism, you have a godmother, godfather, people, to, I guess, like sponsor you. And so then he's like, well, guess what? You're a Christian now, so we can get married. And she's like, I've been learning a lot about Christianity, and I think that a father cannot marry his daughter. I'm pretty sure.
Old Testament, you can.
And so,
Right?
Not wrong,
I
yeah.
believe so, Noah.
so he responded, Olga, you have outwitted me. Like now he's like, there's just no way I'm going to get her. She's like a slippery fish. I won't be able to.
Why would you want her? That's like she's
Because-
too slippery of a fish.
Because now the Byzantine Empire would also include her 4 million square kilometers.
Sure. Okay.
So plus, other things.
What's
that
the
he
other
likes.
thing, Renee?
Things that
Like what?
Like, what can a woman offer
Yeah.
aside for 4 million?
A snake mouth?
Yeah,
anyway.
that was a real forbidden fruit.
So she returns back to Kiev and
Freshly baptized.
Yeah.
freshly baptized, and she tries to convert her son.
Tell the story
Stanislav.
about Adam and Kiev.
Ah, there you go. Yeah.
And he was like, I can't become a Christian. People will make fun of me.
It's true.
So he goes off. He actually, because through her, he was getting paid handsomely by the Byzantine Empire to fight like the Turks and things like that, like the Byzantines'
Sure.
enemies. But behind her back, not only was he paying,
On top of that, he's probably doing some non-Christian stuff,
Oh, yeah.
sowing his
Oh,
roots.
yeah.
Like, Mom, this is a bit much coming from you. Do you remember the birds?
Yeah.
Like,
so he was paying.
you literally rained brimstone on a town.
He was paying the son, but then he also paid the Pensionags, which was also another tribe, to
The pension eggs?
Pensionags.
Sounds like the Teamsters Union.
What do you think?
That made Lindsay laugh.
Okay, so the Pensionags, he paid them to kill Stanislav, and he paid Stanislav to get rid of the Pensionags.
How do you keep track of these names?
I don't know.
It's impressive. Okay.
So, anyways, they were trying to kill each other. Well, while her son is away from Kiev fighting this dude, they sent some other Pensionags to go to Kiev to try to attack her, and so they put Kiev under siege. So now she's under siege for the first time.
She's like, oh, I don't like this at
yeah,
all.
she
I've been
did it.
doing this to people?
Yeah,
Kill the birds. Kill all the birds.
I asked for forgiveness.
So yeah, she was not happy. She did not like it at all, and she was like trying to, send a messenger to her son to say, "You better come back here," but they had it so well blockaded that no messenger could leave.
Sure.
And so now time's running out because they're out of food, and they're like looking to her like, "You got to save us." So she found a boy in their, area that can speak Pensionagan or whatever, Pensionagan.
I'll take your word for it. Sure. I
So
can't even
anyways-
say their name.
So
What,
he
Olga?
Pension egg.
Yeah. So what he did was that he crossed over the river Dnieper or whatever, and
Yep.
he was like, he was holding a bridle, and he was young, probably like 6 or 7, and he was like, I lost my horse, and if I don't find it, my dad's gonna be so mad, he's gonna kill me and stuff. And they're like, oh, and because he's so little, they're like, okay, well, why don't you tell us about this horse?
I know Olga's tricks.
So meanwhile, all these guys are preoccupied with this boy and this horse that doesn't exist. And so she sent the remaining men to come out from behind the castle, and they're each coming out from the different sides. And they're like trying to make as much noise as possible so it sounds like they're a much larger army than what they really are. And so they're like making all this noise, and they're coming, and the Pensionags are like, holy shit, the son must come back with the full army, and now they've overwhelmed us because we don't have as many guys.
Just imagine like Home Aloneing it with silhouettes.
I
Just
was
like,
thinking,
Yeah.
actually, I was thinking more like from Monty Python and the
yeah,
coconuts.
the bang it. How many horses do they have? Clip, clop, clip, clop.
Yeah. So then the Pensionags, they just took off. They're like, no, we're going to get slaughtered if we stay. So they leave. So like, in other words, her guys didn't even have to cross the river. But before they even got to the river at the base of the hill, those dudes were gone.
Another brilliant win for
Yeah.
Yeah.
Olga. It
like-
just sounds
I
like
mean,
all people are stupid back
She's-
then, but
no, she's a legit tactician.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
And she also had her 3 grandsons there, which is the future of the dynasty. So she
Sure.
also has to protect them. So her son eventually returns, and she like basically.
How old's her son at this point? He's got 3 kids already.
Well, he's got to be kind of older because
14.
they think she
Yeah.
was around 70 at this time.
Oh, okay.
So if she was like 16 when he was born, I mean, he's probably in his late 40s and early 50s.
Okay. Yeah.
So anyway, she's like, where have you been? This is what happened, and I had to protect your sons at my old age.
This is typical. Like, this sounds exactly like all the women I know in my family.
He's
Like,
I was out getting strange, Mom. What are
yeah.
you
I didn't know I was on a guilt trip as
Dude,
well.
that-
Jesus.
getting that pagan strange?
Yeah. Getting you more of these grand things.
And so
Where didn't I have 7? Where they go? Whatever. One crossed. One helped me win a war. What?
well, then he's like, well, you shouldn't be here. Kyiv sucks. It's not good. And he's got this other city that now he's going to make the new capital that's going to help with more trade because it's on the Danube River.
So call it Chernobyl.
Fucker should be setting up franchises.
It's like
Here's
Perry
your
Slats
Fight Club reference
or
for the
something.
episode.
Perry slats.
Perry Slats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't roll off the tongue.
No, it really just like
The
all
way
Russian
Olga does.
cities. Yeah, actually, it's interesting. The city that Olga was born in doesn't exist anymore. But if it did, it would be right where the Kremlin is in Moscow
Oh, okay.
or Moscow, whatever.
Sure.
So he wants to move the city, and she's like, "No, I love Kyiv. I've been fighting for it my whole life. Will you stay until I die?" And he agrees.
Stab.
Yeah.
So, you taught me well, mother.
Yeah, she only lived.
Sentiment will kill you. You should remember that.
She died 3 days after this discussion.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it wasn't very long.
You can't hold Igor's son down. He had to
But-
split.
You're probably wondering, hey, how did she become a saint then? Because
She's a Christian.
well, but what happened is even though she didn't convert her son,
Sure.
he did make it so that the people who did convert could not be persecuted for
Oh, okay.
becoming religious. And the other thing is all 3 of her grandsons, she raised them, taught them everything that she knows, just like her son. So the oldest one, which was like Vladimir the First, he was Christian when he became king and made it a Christian realm. So now all this area is now under Christendom, which is under the Pope and all that. So it's so she did, basically establish Christianity for millions of, miles or whatever. So she was canonized in 1547, which was obviously well after she died.
Yeah, Elizabeth Bathory was like, I found a role model. Look at this lady. Holy shit.
Yeah.
It's interesting because usually when they canonize someone, it's like they're very saintly, very good. And she's very, mass murdery. And, so there isn't that many, but I was like, we don't always canonize mass murderers, but when we do, it's Olga of Kyiv.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if you win this much, you're in.
Yeah.
It's one of those history loves a winner.
So her descendants would be like Ivan the Terrible.
I argue that she saved a bunch of lives by killing all these guys back then.
And even the Romanovs, which was the end of all of the Russian, kings and queens. But
Oh, where are the Romanovs now?
yeah, they're buried, not doing very well. But the Rus
Making a comeback. So.
is RUS, so the Rus would become Russia.
Ruskies.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's exactly what happened. When it became Russia, it was still under that Rurik dynasty.
Sure.
So that's the story of Saint Olga
Real quick,
of Kyiv.
in Ukraine, in Kyiv, is she still celebrated as?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Well, I was
would
wondering.
you be proud of your own,
100%. And
There's not a lot
honestly,
of-
that should give you pause before you order one of those Ukrainian brides. They are from tricky descendants. They show up
it's
in a
like-
boat and you get buried in it. I don't know what's.
That's like marrying someone from Australia.
Yeah.
I know. I was thinking, so is Russians basically Norwegian?
I'm sure they've had quite
No,
a bit
they're
of,
Asian.
quite a bit of Viking put and pumped in them.
I know. I've always wanted to do one of those, like, what do you call it? A test of where you're from.
Nah,
But
don't.
being that I'm Scandinavian, I could be like everything.
You're white.
All red. All red.
I'm white. You're white. We're white. My brother did one of those. I looked at his. I'm like, yeah. All right. I'm like 6% Neanderthal. That was surprising. But then I'm like, I look at the
That
hair on my
explains your
knuckles.
hairy
I'm
knuckles, yeah.
like, yeah.
Like you've got like Robin Williams fingers.
Yeah. That'd be very funny fingers.
Now people are gonna Google Robin Williams fingers. It's trending.
Yeah, Jake will just pop a picture of like his hairy ass hands up somewhere.
No, actually, it's good. Like where the hair grows, you can get tattoos and they'll stay.
Nice.
My hands are just helping me out as demonstrations. So, anyways, thanks for. I cannot wait to tell my mother-in-law Olga all about what I learned
namesake?
about her name.
Yeah.
Yeah, what she's
No.
named after.
No, that I actually before we went into this, I had heard of her, but not to the detail that Renee went into. So I really appreciate that we did this
She's a
episode.
cunning tactician.
Unreal,
Yeah.
and just also the patience that takes
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
do that, like and then the plastic smile.
Yeah.
So
You need a fake
she's a-
smile and gullible dudes, and
I mean,
it all
dude,
works out.
oh, God. Dude, I'm sorry, but guys are gullible.
Yeah.
when you if you dangle some puss in front of them,
snake
like,
mouth out there,
whatever
you're
you
like-
want.
You don't
Yeah.
think?
No, but anyway, my name has been Adam. Well, I'm sorry.
I was gonna do it first this time.
Okay, you want to re-hit it?
No, okay,
just-
no. I'm Renee Alina Wright.
Are you Elena, right?
Yeah.
That is for that's Olga's Christian name.
Yeah,
When
when
she
she
got-
got baptized.
So they were like, Olga's terrible.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
this
don't
is-
tell your mother-in-law
Yeah,
that
this
part.
is I'm gonna call her Elena. Hey, Elena.
That sounds so much more
rename
Christian.
you.
have your kids like Grandma Elena.
Yeah.
Well,
Happy Women's Day. We fixed it. so.
Yeah. But anyway, this has been episode 108A, and my name is Adam Lickety Spit Riley.
Yeah.
Oh God.
My name is Jake Igor, because I got to split and go to work. Bussy.
Later, boners. Bye.
You met me at a very strange time in my life.
Greek historians, because there was like fights with the Turks and like also the Byzantine Empire, but
You saw that pottery, right, of all those dudes banging each other.
Yeah.
And there's this old
One guy
ancient
just-
looking pottery, but it's all just like bearded dudes sucking
Yeah.
each other's dicks and getting fucking tailpiped and shit. And then then I saw someone commented it said Greeks invented the orgies, Romans invented women.
Hold on. This pot also had like a dog.
Yeah, there's a dog licking-
getting fucked.
There's
a guy
like a
that's
dog
just-
licking
yeah.
a wiener.
There's a guy that's just like ass gazing. Is the best thing I can do.
Yeah.
Just like on his knees, just
And
like.
then Heather, I had to explain to Heather because I go, yeah. Jake goes, who's Piper Perry? Because there's just like one like light colored figure. The rest are all like black silhouettes. And then Heather's like, huh? And then I had to have her Google Piper Perry on the couch. She's like, that's just a person? She fucks those guys? I was like,
She's a Chinese finger trap. I bet.
I go, at the same time?
Yeah, she's a real plate spinner. So,
It's fucking, I don't
she's
understand.
the person that can spin the
Not
5
really like a porn
basketballs,
person.
but with dicks.
yeah.